Okay, this is going to be the last part of the drawing tutorial. In between the last video and this video, I did go in and just added a few more details to the drawing. It wasn't anything that I didn't discuss in the other video. I just added some more details and shading. But on this part, I'm going to go over adding the watercolor. And so I have my watercolor set out. I have my paintbrush ready. And I'm going to start by just mixing some colors. I'm going to use purple on this one, so I'm going to get some red and some blue ready. And with the watercolors, I have to say, this is just how I do it. There may be professional watercolorists that are horrified by my technique, but that's okay. It seems to work for me, so this is how we're going to do it. So I'm going to start. You can see on the first drawing that I did, there's some shading in the drawing and then there's some color outside the drawing. So I'm going to do a combination of both just to show how I do this. And I'm going to start now that I have some color mixed with just the water, and I want to add a bunch of that back here. So I'm going to start with just water in the drawing. And I'm going to make a big section of where I want this color to go. And again, this is just water right now that I'm putting on here. And I'm going to sort of get it all in through this back section. And when I feel good about where I've spread that out, I'm going to grab my color on the paintbrush and just sort of gently dab it into that water that I have on there, because I like how that's going to spread out. Now, if I want a darker section, okay, I can just add more paint right there, and it's going to make it a little bit darker. But I like how it varies the color and how it bleeds out sort of naturally. So let me get some more color mixed. And I can go back in here, and that's nice and dark, and get that to just sort of go out all through there. Now, I have had some people ask before how to do the watercolor that I get around letters, and I had a short video before about that, but I'm going to go over it again, and I'm going to show you right here in this section. So what I do is I just get the paintbrush with just water, and I really lightly go along where I want that outline to be, and I just do it in small sections. So right now it's just water, and I'm going to pick up some paint, and if I paint it right along that edge, it'll be nice and clean, and then the color will spread out away from the drawing, which is what I want it to do. And then I can sort of continue that down, and that's the look that I want. And I can sort of do that all along here. And that's going to be how I want that to go. And if I want it to spread out in other sections, you know, that's okay, I can do that. And if I want it to sort of gradually taper off, I can just do it like that. So I feel good about that part right there and that part right there. Maybe let's add some more darker colors in here just to make it a little more interesting. Okay, I'm going to add some more color in here too, to make this part a little more interesting. And you could probably use a bigger brush for these bigger sections to pick up more water, but I sort of just like using one brush when I do this. I don't know why. It probably would be a little easier to do it the other way, but that's okay. And after I get that color on there, I can go back in too with just water on the brush and sort of help spread that out and make it a little less severe. So let's keep spreading some water and color alternately in here. Okay. And this is basically what I did on the original drawing. You can see I just went through the areas that I wanted to highlight and color in, and that's basically what I did. So I'm just going to keep doing that here, adding some darker sections, maybe after up here it dries a little bit, add some more color. Again, just being careful where I put the water and knowing that that's going to affect where the paint goes. And then maybe let's do one little section up here in this white area, just to make that a little more interesting. Okay. Spread that out here. Get some more water, put that back in there. We'll make this a little bit lighter so it doesn't take away from the drawing at all, or as much. And we'll keep blending that. I don't want any sort of hard edges. I want it all very soft. So when I find one of those hard edges, I can just keep blending it with water until it's a little less severe. Okay. And then when I feel good about where I have, the rest of that, the last thing I want to do is get some paint on the brush, and this is why everything I own is covered in paint splatters. That's okay. Get some water and paint on the brush, and how I get the splatters is I hold it on the brush like this and just tap down. Now when those splatters hit the wet areas, they're going to bleed out a little bit, and that's okay. It sort of makes it a little more interesting. But I'm just going to keep doing that until I am pleased with how the splatters look. Maybe go over that a couple times. Get some paint all over the tablecloth, because why not? Add that in there. And the only thing, I want to be careful, because if I hit this too hard and the brush smacks off the paper, it's going to leave a bigger mark, which is okay if that's, a look that you want, but I don't want that for this. I just want the splatters, so I'm trying to hold the brush a little bit further away from the paper so that I can avoid having that happen. So I'm going to keep splattering, keep splattering, keep splattering, keep splattering. Very precise and scientific, clearly. Alright, I'm happy with that. So then the very last thing that we do is I'm going to grab, I actually use paper from a Moleskine sketchbook because I like that it's a different, slightly different color than the rest of the drawing. And I'm going to draw my little heart bubble. So I use Moleskine paper, and then the pen that I'm using is actually a Micron pen. So I draw my heart bubble, and I want to pay attention. I want, this is going to be the same as this owl, so I want the speech bubble going in toward the owl. So when I draw it, I'm going to have this side be straight down, and then going up into that side. Okay. And then we're going to draw the heart in there. Alright, just like that. And let me grab my Copic marker. Oh, wrong end. Alright, and color that heart in. Alright, and then we'll get some scissors and glue and cut this out. So after I glue this on, the very last thing that I do to the drawing is spray it with, let me show you, Final Fixative. And that way, it will not smudge, you can handle it, and it will not spread or smear at all. So I always use fixative on the finished drawings so that they do not get graphite everywhere. Let's cut this heart out. And then get this placed on the drawing. And then we will look at our finished piece. Ooh, we want to be careful not to break this at all. Cut through the heart. So then I can position that on the drawing wherever I want. And we are all finished. All I have to do is glue that on, spray it, and sign it. And that is the finished drawing. So you can see how that compares to the original. Pretty similar. And I hope you all enjoyed watching the tutorials. Feel free to email me with any questions that you have. Thanks.